Hello everyone, my name is Haybeck and welcome back to the Bell Valley Zoo. Today we're going to be building a Dall sheep exhibit. I'm excited for this one because it took a while, but it's also just the start of our Great Northwest section here in the zoo. I think this came out really good. You're gonna see a lot here. And it might not, if you paid attention to the thumbnail, you'll realize that it's not quite the same as from what I'm currently building right now. So you'll see what I did later. I'll explain more when we get there. But basically a lot does change with this exhibit. I did the planning like I have in my other ones. I've had a lot of feedback on people saying they really like my idea of like going in depth in the planning before I start building. And I had a good plan going. I drew up it on my iPad. I was going to have like this big dolly that would have a bridge over it that you could look down on the sheep, and the backstage house form would actually be underneath your feet. And you'd have like this information center with like these benches, and it was an idea. I did really like it at the time. Once I started building it in here, I kind of gave up on it because as I kept building, it stopped being functional the more and more that I built it. So I go through a lot of changes here. You'll see on the screen here, I like to use the terrain painting tools to kind of plan out the exhibit and the house so I can have somewhat of an idea of where I need to place things ahead of time. So that way I don't go too overboard on certain things and I actually need to backtrack. You know, I could properly plan what I need to do ahead of time. And it's a relatively smooth experience. I think this habitat would have been a little smoother if well, I don't know. I got a little too ambitious. It's the very start of the Great Northwest. It's right near the entrance. So I went a little too crazy on it. So I definitely dialed it back later. You'll see that. And then another issue, it's just kind of an issue I have in general in this game that I'm still learning, is scale. I'm not the greatest at doing things to scale correctly the first time. So what I end up doing is cutting things down, making things smaller. Like I didn't redo this path that I just edged with that plaster. But when this exhibit is done, you'll see this path is almost a little too wide for my liking. I'd prefer it to be a little thinner. I think this path that I did ended up being, I think 23 feet wide, and it's just too much. So it turns out, I think overall, it's one of those things where it's more of a nitpick than it is anything else. So it's not really that big of a deal. But here I'm doing a big rock face to kind of split up those view sections so you can kind of have those viewports into the exhibit and you don't just have this huge lay of the land. I did it a little more on the Red Crown Crane exhibit, but being able to use natural foliage and rock faces to kind of guide your eye towards certain things within the exhibit. So you almost make these sort of viewports, and you create these different sections that people can look into and see within said exhibit. So on this one, I kind of just used the rocks, and it worked out pretty good. So yeah, so here I'm doing the terrain painting. I really like doing the terrain painting in this game. I think there's a really good way to make things look really natural, and that's just increasing and decreasing the intensity of the brushes. I like to do an underlayer of just the hard soil and then going over it with like the coarse sand and then the long grass at like 10% intensity. I think it actually ends up looking really good. So it gives it that natural feeling, and then you can kind of go over it with your actual foliage in game. And I think it blends in really well. So that's one thing I'm pretty proud of that I end up doing here. So yeah, the rock work took me probably the longest out of this entire exhibit because my initial inspiration for the habitat was the bighorn sheep habitat in the San Diego Safari Park. I'll put a link to the images, probably through Zoo Chat. Actually, the San Diego Safari Park itself doesn't really have that many photos of the habitat, just the animal. So you'll see on Zoo Chat that they kind of have this bridge thing. It's kind of where I got the inspiration for trying to do this whole like bridge idea with this big gully. And you know, like I said, it didn't work out, but they have like this cool bridge, and then they have this big tree in the middle that hangs over on behind you while you look up at the bighorn sheep, and it's just rocks. There's no dirt, there's no nothing. It's just rocks. And it's pretty cool. I think it might be a little too many rocks. Like here, I definitely tried to use the inspiration towards lots and lots of rocks, kind of like a mountain face. And I think it worked out pretty good. So I end up blending it. You can see the way I do the rock cladding, it looks really repetitive. But once you go through and add some of the bigger rocks and have them jut out in the middle of them, and then go through and add some of those aquatic faux rocks and some of the tinier, like the tinier version of the biome rock that you're using, then it evens it out and it doesn't look as repetitive. But this is just to kind of get that rock cladding thing going, and then you can go back in and redetail it, and then it looks really good. So right now it looks repetitive. I promise it does look better. So it's more of like a trust the process kind of thing. So overall, the rock work, rock work takes a while. And then you'll see I do way too much rock work because, yeah, I'll admit, I end up deleting a lot of this exhibit later. Like I said, to scale, the Dall sheep are just way smaller than I thought. People are way smaller than I thought. It is what it is. It looks really good in the end. So just trust the process. Here I am adding those aquatic faux rocks, and then you can kind of see that once you start getting those other rocks in there, it really adds this sense of just natural environment, and it looks really good in my opinion. And then here I used Caesar Creates. I used his bundle of rocks with some of that little foliage. I think it came together nice as well. I'll put this in the description because I'll have all my Steam Workshop. I didn't think I used anything except for these two rock, because I have the Caesar Create rock set and then a rock set by, I don't remember his name, but it's just all of the aquatic faux rocks within the exact same color range as the bio rocks. So I think it looks pretty good. But and then here I'm creating a custom fence that goes over around the entire backside, and I kind of gave it that dark green color again. You'll see I'm going to be using at least in Great Northwest and some of this entrance area stuff, I'm going to be using a lot of dark green, because like I said in my last video, if you watched that it blends in really well in the background of zoos because of just the use of foliage. So it doesn't draw your eye towards this big building in your hindsight vision. So I do the same thing with the backstage area for these goats. Not goats, sheeps. And I do that, like, another dark green. I think it was the same color as what I did for the Wren Crane. And I think it all comes together very well once the foliage kind of blends in with it there. So yeah, I've got kind of I'm working on how to work on my commentary with these videos. So I've got kind of a list of things, of topics I would like to discuss, so I can plan a little more ahead. I feel like in some of my last videos I ramble a little bit, but so the first thing I wrote down was the success of the channel. This channel is popping off. I don't really know why. I'm not a very consistent uploader. I'm having people tell me that like they think my builds are like best of the best level, and I think they're referring to the people like Caesar Creates and Leaf and Rudy Van Camel. I don't think that's true at all. I think I have a lot to learn, and sure, I finish and I'm proud of them, and then I'll turn around and go watch a YouTube video and I instantly lose all of my confidence. So but either way, we are growing like crazy fast. I mean, I think right now, I checked this morning and I got like 10 subscribers just overnight, let alone anything else. So right now I'm at 230 subscribers. I don't want to try and talk about subscriber count every episode. I've noticed after the first episode, I've talked about like growth and subscriber count every time. I don't want it to get too repetitive. So I'll refrain from talking about it as much as I do. But I do just think it's an absolutely insane milestone for the amount of growth. I don't mean to offend the person who said this. So if you are watching this, I do apologize if I offend you in any way, but he did message me on a Discord and say like, the amount of subscribers you have right now took me 90 videos to get to where you're at right now. And I see that less as of like, I don't want it to be like a flex and more of a like, that's madness to me. I don't feel like I deserve that much growth in that amount of time. So thank you guys so much. And that is actually, I'll give him a shout out because he's a really cool guy. We're both in Caesar Creates Discord, and it is going to be awkward because I can't find him. Jurassic Cannon King. I'll link him down in the description because we've chatted a couple times and he comments on all my videos. So you're probably watching this right now, dude. Big respect. I've watched a lot of your Prehistoric Kingdom fields. I haven't played the game yet. I have it. And I do plan on uploading videos on that. But anyways, really cool dude. So if you're watching this and you're into the builder games and like prehistoric stuff like that, go give him a check. He's a cool dude. He's a cool guy. So yeah, anyways, the growth of the channel. I don't know what I'm doing right, but I'm going to continue to do it right. So I really appreciate everything. And yeah, I don't know. It's just insane. I mean, I get shocked every time I wake up and I just see I have all these new subscribers. I think last time, the Red Crown Crane Aviary habitat, I had 120 subscribers. And so now I've gotten 100 more in between these videos. I mean, I have 4 videos, you guys. Like, calm down for a second. Give me a second to really establish this channel and really go somewhere. I mean, I have 4 videos. I don't even have an introduction video. I don't think many people do, but YouTube says they recommend it. I don't know if I entirely agree with that. But yeah, I thank you guys so much for all the support. Your comments on these videos as well has been absolutely amazing. You have no idea how nice it is to see all these comments all the time, just doing nothing but praising the work that I do. Like I said, I don't really think I deserve it. I don't think I'm there yet. It's good to have the people that can recognize that. I've had a couple smaller Planet Zoo YouTubers also comment on my pages, and that means a lot because I do watch you guys. And you guys are all amazing. So hopefully we can keep growing a community. And I did make a Discord. I'll link it down in the description after this. You'll see it. So it's not a very established Discord, but I will link that permanent invite so you can join it if you'd like. And basically it's just a place, it's just called Haybeck right now. I don't really know what else to call it, but so I'll have that down there. We can all join it, share creations. I think it'll be really fun. Here I'm building this custom fence. This is also based off of the fence surrounding the bighorn sheep habitat at the San Diego Safari Park. So it's got like the bottom wood, and then the top, and then I end up building a railing using the door hinges and then the grassland pack like sign poles, and I think it turned out really good. I'm really proud of this fence. I think it looks very realistic, and then I added like the brackets on the back side so that it was like holding the chain link on. I think it's really cool. So definitely probably my most like favorite custom fence I've done. You guys have only seen me do one with the habitat last episode, but I really like this one. So yeah, well, I guess so. I said earlier I don't have like the greatest upload schedule, and that's just because especially this week has been pretty bad. You're probably watching this video. I will be uploading this 4 days later than what I usually do, and that's just because my school started this week and it's been insanely busy. I think between work and school, I'm doing maybe 15-hour days right now. Maybe more like 13-hour days. It's not the most ideal. I mean, I'm getting the bills done. Like, I have work. I'm up at 4 a.m. every morning for work, so that's pretty brutal. But yeah, I'm excited for school this year. I got into my landscape program this past summer, so I've already been doing it for 2 years, and now I have 2 more years. But the cool thing about the program I'm in is you have to submit a portfolio and actually get accepted fully into the program. So I ended up achieving what's called matriculation, and that just means that a huge committee of landscape architects and professors at the university go in and review your portfolio based on all the work you've done, and then they'll accept you in. And they only accept 30 people. I think they accepted like 34 this year. I don't know why they made an exception, but I was one of the 30. And so now I'm in, and some of the classes I'm taking, like I'm taking a 3D representation class. So that just involves like 3D modeling programs, and I'm hoping I'm pretty good at it. I mean, I understand this game pretty well, and it's kind of close. So 3D representation, and then I'm taking planting design, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping I can apply the knowledge I take from planting design, and I can apply it here, and hopefully that shows. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. And then I'm taking residential planning, and it's just an entire class about how to plan landscapes with residential properties. I'll be honest, it is the one I am the absolute least excited about because I don't enjoy residential. Like, my whole goal is to become a zoo designer, like a zoo exhibit designer. It is a thing. There are plenty of firms, and my goal is to get into one of those firms. But either zoo design or like public space design with like parks and stuff like that, or like outside of like buildings. But residential, working with like individual clients of like a home, not really what I'm into. I do still have to take this class, so like it's not like I chose to take it even though I don't want to do it. So hopefully it'll be all right. So I'm not dreading it. You know, there's going to be information in there that's always going to be useful to know. There's always something, even if it's just one thing out of an entire semester of stuff that I'll get, and it'll be worth to know. So that's that. And then the one class that I'm so incredibly excited for that completely relates to why you're watching this channel right now, and it is modern zoo design. Now, there's a caveat, and it's only 3 days. It's so disappointing, but basically it's a modern zoo design course for 3 days. It is October 17th, 18th, and 19th. It is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 3 days in a row. And we are working with a critically acclaimed zoo design landscaping firm from Washington State here in the US. And I'll actually link their website URL down in the description, because their designs are absolutely amazing. And they've worked all over the world. So if you're in New Zealand and you've ever been to the Auckland Zoo, they did the entire master plan design for that zoo. If you live in Fresno, California, they've done the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. They did the master plan for the Oregon Coast Aquarium. They've done specific exhibit designs in... Oh, I don't remember what the other firm was. I don't remember. But they also do specific exhibit designs. And I think they're absolutely incredible. So they're coming in and we're working with them. Oh yeah, here's me cutting the place in half. Really disappointing, but I had to cut it in half because it's just too big. So I deleted so much what I did, and the only reason I left it in was so you guys could see the landscaping I did, because it wouldn't make sense trying to cut it all out. Anyways, I'll wrap up the class talk so I can get back to talking about the video. But yeah, so they're coming in. We're designing a penguin habitat. I believe it's African penguins. And I'm currently having to read all about how to take care of African penguins. It's a 143-page document, and it is insane, but it works out. I'm actually kind of enjoying the reading. And then multiple other documents and stuff about like zoo design and zoo care. So it's going to be really fun. So once I do take that class, and any video I upload around that time, I will be sure to report that. But at the same time, that week, I probably won't be able to get a video out. Like right now, I'm averaging at least once a week. It varies on time, but I'm still getting one a week out, video-wise. But that week, there's a good chance I don't get one out. So if I do, or the next video, I will 100% report on that class, how it went, what happens, how fun it is, because I'm so incredibly excited, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So we will get there. We'll get there when we get there. Anyways, I did a little bit of research on Dall sheep for this exhibit. I like to do research on animals before I look into them. It's not, I don't go in depth. I probably should. I've thought about going in depth and actually looking into what they do, like physically, how they do it, why they do it, and actually implementing that into my exhibits. So I'm probably going to start doing that on the next animals. But a couple things I found out was that Dall sheep are actually found in the Kenai Mountains, the Tok area, the Chujak Mountains, Mintasta, Nutsoten, and the Northern Wrangell Mountains, and the Delta Controlled Use Area. Also on the north side of the Alaska Range, east of the Nenana River, west of the Delta River, and south of the Tanana River, in the Tanana Hills, in the White Mountains area, and in the central and eastern Brooks Range. So that was a lot of words. But basically, they mainly reside in the northwest section of North America, specifically in Alaska, British Columbia, and some of very northern borderline Canadian Washington. So they all reside up in there. The Dall sheep are found in relatively dry country and frequent a special combination of open alpine ridges, meadows, and steep slopes with extremely rugged escape terrain in the immediate vicinity. They use ridges, meadows, and steep slopes for feeding and resting, but when danger approaches, they flee to the rocks and crags to elude pursuers. They are generally high country animals, but sometimes occur in Alaska and rocky gorges below timberline. So, kind of when it says like escape terrain, basically a lot of animals can't do what these sheep can do. These guys can basically climb sheer cliffs with ease, and they can easily escape predators in that way. So they like to stick around those areas so that they have that security, which is really cool. The remoteness of the sheep's habitat and its unsuitability for human has protected Dall sheep from most problems in the past. But with the ever-increasing human population and more human use of alpine areas, it may cause future problems for the Dall sheep. So we're kind of starting to go in and take over their main land, which is really sad. But humans will be humans. I think it's best to look into where you're moving and what you could be taking away from other things. I think no matter what, people are always going to be building inside of animals' home ranges. It's really unfortunate that it has to happen that way, but there's only so much like people like us can do. I do think it's important to raise awareness about it, because the last thing we want to do is just for our own gain, we just start taking other animals' homes away, and I think that's incredibly sad. But hopefully we can change what we do and because right now the conservation status of the Dall sheep is they're not in danger. Biologists aren't afraid of the Dall sheep possibly going into danger, so they're not a worry right now, but that is not saying they won't be a worry in the future. So hopefully we can, and this applies for any animal, multiple animals, I think we really need to band together and not do the things that we do. But like I said, humans will be humans, so it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, so here you're seeing me build the backstage area. This is my first attempt at a true backstage area. The Red Crown Crane one, I'll be honest, I kind of whipped together, not really thinking. It was a little half done. I tried to put a little bit of effort into it, but I was almost in that stage of like, I need to get this video out. I'm just going to get it out of the way. So I put a little bit more effort into this one. It's still not my favorite. There's still more I could be doing to it. So I will be getting better. I liked how it turned out overall. I added their sleeping stalls that could be closed off. I added a specific zookeeper area where they don't actually have to go in and interact with the sheep. but they can still take care of them. And then like the big cage, and then you'll see at one point I added that outdoor area with a different exit through this backstage area. That's basically just, one, it can be acted as a quarantine area, and two, it can be a place where the sheep can go and get away from the eyes of people, because they're in this exhibit I built. There's not many hiding spots, so they can go out there and get enriched with the food and water and some of their toys they have out there. But if they want to, they can come into this habitat in the far back of their exhibit, away from humans, and that way their social anxiety and their just anxiety in general doesn't flare, and they can not be as scared, I guess, so they can escape from all the attention. So that's kind of why I built that outside area, and then I lined it with those beech tree saplings, and it acts as a really nice bush, which helps cover it all. So that's pretty much what I did there. And then here I'm adding the roof line. I really like what I did with this roof. I added that conservation piece triangle, and then I colored it to be similar, and I kind of like how it adds like this like attic slat, so like open air to it. I think it's really cool. But yeah, we're slowly finishing up on the exhibit here. I do add some touch-ups, you'll see. I don't want to be rambling too long. This video isn't like insanely long. It's definitely longer than my last one. I have plenty of B-roll at the end, so just nice relaxing music. You can take a look at the exhibit. I did plenty off camera, like right here you'll see I did the signs and the fence behind, and so yeah, there's plenty I did off camera. You'll see all that. I don't want to ramble too much. Stick around, you can see the end of this exhibit. I think it all looked really good. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. Any questions or any words of advice or any tips you have after watching this, please leave it down in the description. Please leave it down in the comments. I love reading your comments. I try to reply to every single one of them. I know my red crown crane habitat video is now sitting at almost 50 comments, which is amazing. I love all the kind words you guys are saying, and I like to just sit there and reply to them as much as I can and really start a conversation with you guys. So please comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Clearly, you know, I mean, we're growing like crazy, and I just want to keep going. And like I said earlier, with school starting, I don't know how many videos I'll be able to get out. I am still going to try for once a week, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be doable. I'm just not going to really have a set schedule. I kind of gave up on that. I was originally trying to do Tuesdays, and yeah, that wasn't happening. But all right, well, that's all I have today. So thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.